Hi everybody, it's Irene with BrainStormAcres. As you can see, I'm in the greenhouse today and I'm doing a couple of things at once. One is it's a fertilizer day. Now fertilizer also means water for me because we're using liquid fertilizer in the greenhouse. But I'm also starting to prep things for the fact that we're going away for a week. So I'm going to be working towards building up moisture in some of the larger pots like the wicking totes. Now the fertilizer I'm using today is a natural fertilizer. It's a 511 fish emulsion, which if you've never smelled this stuff, you don't want to. It's pretty bad. But I have found that it works really well in the past, so I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to use this here, and I'm also going to be doing some stuff in the regular garden. Most of our garden is currently not planted, but we do have a garlic bed that I'll talk about a little bit later. So I've got some water ready to go, and I just want to get it going. This is normally just used on the surface of the soil. I'm also going to put a little bit of it in the bottom of the totes, that the wicking totes, because it will, especially in the totes that have the really deep root systems like the cabbages, they will reach down and get it from down beneath. So it's just shaking this thing really well. It tends to, God bless. Okay, this is why we keep vice grips around. Man, this glued on. It's always been a little hard to get off, but this morning is more than a little hard. Push down and turn. I am doing that. There we go. Whew. When I put it on the table, I could push down and turn hard enough. Wow. Well, anyway, so I'm just going to put a tablespoon in here. And it looks like, we'll say chocolate sauce. How's that? It looks like chocolate sauce. But it sure doesn't smell like chocolate sauce. It smells like rotten fish. But you know, it works really well. And I've used it inside and outside before, and it's always worked really well for me. And I actually put less than a tablespoon in here because this container does not hold a tablespoon of, it does not hold a gallon of water. All of our greens get washed before they use, so I'm not worried about anything tasting like fish. And the nice thing about this is you don't have to worry about it burning anything. A lot of chemical fertilizers can burn the leaves. This is not a problem with this stuff. Now I particularly want to make sure that I get the potted plants over there. A lot of the soil in here has been reused, so every time I reuse it, I try and add some good organics to it, more compost, maybe a little fish emulsion, some bone meal, you know, that sort of stuff. But I have to admit, because of some of the chaos that has ensued in here this year with weather and stuff like that, I have probably not kept the best track of things as I usually would. I think I have actually finally found a watering can that I like. But now the trick is to go get it. It's only sold in a store, not by mail, so we'll see. We'll know by the end of next week whether I've been able to go by and get it or not. If you remember, this is Asian greens, and I have it covered because we have thrips in here, and thrips seem to absolutely adore Asian greens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to very briefly uncover this. It does have a thrip trap in here. We'll take a look to see if we've caught any. We have a couple. Like 3. Okay. The greens are looking good so far. My goal today is to fertilize this really well. And then I really don't want to open it again before we leave. These plants look happy and healthy. They're slightly warmer than the rest of the greenhouse will be at night. Not particularly warmer during the day, maybe a degree or two, but not much. So they're getting kind of the best of both worlds at this point. Okay, so this is a double layer of agribon. I'm doubling it as much as anything because there's a couple small holes in it, and also this is a lighter agribon. And also, I just don't want to trip over it, because tripping is a bad thing. So let's move on to finishing the rest of the plants here. Gotta water the rest of the guys here. Also gonna give the spinach a little bit more. It got some, but spinach is over here on the rack there. It got some fertilizer before, but there was a piece of plastic stuck in the nozzle of the watering can. So I was arguing with it. It's beginning to smell like the ocean here. Funny thing about that. Yum. Let's get these guys double fertilized. It won't hurt them. And because this is a spinach, what we're trying to do is we're trying to grow greens. So we want them to have lots of moisture and enough fertilizer to really get going. I'm also watering my seeds here that I'm trying to start. If you'll remember, I started some pak choi and some tiara. I'm filling the bottom of the tray with a little of this extra because I want to keep it wet while we're gone. And I've got this on a bottom shelf here because I want it to get sun, but I don't want it to get roasted because it has a dome on it. And having it down here will keep it a little cooler, but it's not on the floor, so it's not ice cold. And I'm being very generous. I'm doing a combination of watering and fertilizing at the same time. I'm trying to build up some extra moisture in these, and I'll be filling the bottoms of all the wicking totes with water to make sure that we have a good reserve for while we're gone. The weather is not supposed to be super hot while we're gone, which is good. It can get hot in here during the day. We have the automated fan on, so if it gets incredibly hot, it will kick in. But we're really not set up for summer temperatures yet. So when we have summer temperatures, we'll have the automated fan and top windows that open on automatic openers that run without electricity. They just run based on the expansion of wax. So when that wax gets hot enough from the heat, they simply expand and open the windows. And those things work like a dream. They are, I think they're less than 50 bucks a piece. I know I got mine on sale. Well, I guess that's about it in here today. I have other stuff to do in the garden, and that's a different video. But as you can see, it's really not a big deal to fertilize, especially if you're using liquid fertilizer, because you can kind of do a water and fertilize combo. Now, one thing I would mention is if you're going to use liquid fertilizer, be sure to follow the rules. And be careful when you put it on your plants, because you can actually burn the leaves. In this case, I'm using something that's very mild. I did it earlier in the morning so that I don't have that sort of a problem. It'll have plenty of time to dry before any bright sun gets to it. But I hope this encourages you to fertilize, because the plants really love you when you do, and they pay you back with more veggies. So until next time, don't forget, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you can keep up with what we're doing around the homestead. Lots going on in the next couple of months. It's spring, not really, but it's getting towards spring, and we're planning for spring. So there'll be a lot happening. So until then, bye.